you need a plan B? Now, I know what you're asking. What is the plan B? Well, this is Jack Kelly with the WeCruitr Podcast. And used to be, back in the day, like my parents' time, if you went to college, not everyone went to college back then, but let's say you went to college or even go to college. You graduate, high school, college, you get a job, and for the most part, you might stay at that same company for the next 20, 30 plus years. Maybe, something happens and you move once, maybe twice, but it was very stable. Fast forward today, and it's different. Studies show that you may have 5, 6, 7, 10 different jobs over your lifespan and maybe 2 or 3 or 4 different careers. So the whole game plan is different. The whole idea of finding one place, working your way up the corporate ladder at that same, location, that same company, I think those are bygone. It's a bygone era. It doesn't really happen anymore. And I'm sure you see this as well. Things change so quickly. A company might be doing fantastic today, and then a year later, completely, irrelevant. They were disrupted by some other, newcomer, some new technology. You could have a career, a job that is really fantastic, and then maybe through artificial intelligence or, some changes in trends in hiring, all of a sudden you're not needed. The idea of having a safe, steady job forever, I think is pretty much gone. Those days are over. Now, it's almost like it's a free agent economy where, hey, you work for company A and it's great. They're treating you well. You're doing well. That's fantastic. But knowing one day they could tap you on your shoulder and say, sorry, I'm trading you for somebody else. But in the corporate world, it's more of like, hey, we're replacing you for someone half your age and, a quarter of the salary paying you, or moving into a different country. But, the feeling's the same, is that, you never could feel completely safe, completely secure, completely comfortable. It could be technology. It could be juniorization, where, they don't, as I mentioned before, they don't want somebody with 20 years of experience making $200,000. They rather have someone with 5 years of experience making $50,000. And then maybe they don't even want that $50,000 person. They want to put that person in another country that's way cheaper and pay that person $10,000, or I don't know how much they pay him or her. So the idea is this. I'm not saying this for you to say, oh my God, what do I do? This is terrible. I'm saying this so that you can get a game plan going. But a game plan in the sense of saying, hey, right now, right here, my job might be great. I have the skills, the background. I'm doing well. I'm getting promoted. I'm getting raises. I'm getting bonuses. Fantastic. But it could end. And this is kind of, I'm sorry to say this. You do have to plant that negative seed in your mind to keep track of it so you don't get too complacent. And even though things are going well, you want to start planning, what if it doesn't? And here's what you have to do. It's pretty straightforward. It runs the gamut from continually building your network. You want to keep making sure that you have people that, if circumstances change, you don't have to say, oh my God, what do I do? Where do I go? Who can I talk to? You want to build a robust, wide array of people in your network. Because if you have everybody who's doing the same thing you are, well, that's not going to be good, because you're all going to be, probably in the same boat. So yes, you want to have people within your specific niche and skill set, but you also want to reach out to other people in other industries and other areas at all different levels, some more experienced than you, some less, about the same, so that if there has to be a change, you don't have to wake up and say, oh my God, I lost my job. What do I do? I have no one to go to. And the only people I could go to are the people in the same boat as me. So you have other folks that you could tap into to get their knowledge, to get their opinions, to get their thoughts, to get their contacts. You want to find out, maybe there's something else you could do on the side. Maybe you can get some side gig. Let's say, I've definitely seen people who have a specialty and enjoy teaching, and they end up kind of being adjunct professors, maybe in a community college or something like that, and maybe they just keep doing that on the side. Sometimes maybe they say, you know what, I like this better than my real career, and I'm going to kind of segue into it. It could be selling real estate on the weekends. It could be whatever kind of gig or side hustle where You have something just in case. Now, it might not be enough to make a living, but it's something that if it all falls apart, you have a plan B. Selling real estate, maybe having some online business, whatever the case may be, being that adjunct professor. Maybe you enjoy writing and you contribute to different publications. It's really across the board. You have to find out what you feel comfortable with. Same thing is you want to take a look, and maybe it makes sense to go back to school, get some certifications. Perhaps you're an accountant, but you really like helping people. So maybe your plan B could go into social work or psychology. So maybe as you go through your career, slowly take classes, get certifications, get to certain accreditations so that if things change, you don't have to start all over at 45 from square one, that you already have things in motion, and maybe you're really close, so you could just pivot right into that plan B. You want to make sure you live way under your means. Most people, you make $1, you spend $2 or $3. If you're smart and have a plan B, you want to start building up other revenue streams. One of the streams could be maybe you invest in the stock market. Maybe, as I mentioned before, in real estate. Maybe you invest in some businesses. You want to have something, again, that just in case things don't go the way you wanted to, you have something in motion. And presumably these are things you have an interest in too. So you're not just going into real estate or starting an online business that you don't have any connection with. These are things that you have interest, so that if things go wrong, you're going to be almost kind of relieved and happy. You're going to go into it. So what you really want to do to take a step back is pretty simple. And it's a serious no. You know what I mean? It's like no one wants to go into a career job thinking, hey, it may not work out and something's going to happen. But I think we could all agree that's the way things are now. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it should be this way, but that's what it is. So to ignore it is kind of foolish. You have to kind of accept this is the way things are. It's uncertain. It changes really quickly, very dramatically. And if you're not prepared, you're caught off guard. So the first step is acknowledging that and understanding it. Second step is to start planning. Get the side hustle, get the side gig, go back to school for certain things, figure out what you really want to do when you grow up. Start taking classes. Ensure that you save money so that if that day comes, you're not really skunked because you don't have enough money to take a different kind of job if it's less paying. So you want to save up, you want to invest, whether you invest in the stock market, just put it in the bank, or whatever the case may be, so you have that nest egg to get you through that time. Then also, the last thing, as I mentioned, you want to cultivate and build a very sprawling, wide network. So it's not just clustered in people like yourself, people that then you could turn to and say, hey, what's going on in your field? What's going on in this area? So that they can give you leads and point you in the right direction. So it's a serious, one of these things that we don't like to talk about because we all want to feel, hey, I could go to this firm, I could end up being the CEO and everything is great and I make a fortune, then retire and live large down in an island somewhere. That'd be nice, but the reality is things are going to be twisting, changing. The rug's going to be pulled onto you, so you want to prepare and have that be plan B when you need it. So it's Jack Kelly, WeCruitr, helping with your plan B. Thanks.